This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Suspected suicide in St. Andrew. An elderly St. Andrew businessman is believed to have taken his life. His lifeless body was found about 9 this morning, hanging from a tree at his home on Kirkland Close in Red Hills, St. Andrew. He has been identified as Donald Anthony Thompson. He operated a wholesale in the corporate area and was last seen about 8:30 p.m. yesterday evening. The St. Andrew North Police are investigating. There is no other sovereign authority in Jamaica, Holness declares. Prime Minister Andrew Holness today declared that under his leadership, not 1 inch of Jamaica will come under any other sovereign authority, dismissing the rhetoric of the Accompong Maroons that they are a sovereign people. Holness made the declaration as he addressed a press conference this morning, called to declare a zone of special operations for Parade Gardens and other communities in central Kingston. Asked by the Gleaner during the presser about the decision by his government to disengage with so-called sovereign Maroons, and obviously upset, Holness said what was being asked of the government was for it to use taxpayers' money and grant funds to fund another government. In early December, the government of Jamaica had issued a directive to all ministries, departments, and agencies prohibiting the allocation of funds to any area that has declared itself a sovereign. There are some threats that the average citizen looking on might think innocuous or popular and take a liking to it because the discussions that are held in places that should know better does not highlight the threat, the Prime Minister said. Jamaica is a unitary sovereign state. There is no other sovereign authority in Jamaica other than the government of Jamaica. Let me make this absolutely clear. None. What you are asking is for the government of Jamaica to take taxpayers' money and grant a fund to fund another government. This is not a local government, a parish council government that is under our constitution. Are you crazy? He asked Gleaner editor Andre Wright. Do you know what you are asking? This is the stuff on how guerrilla wars come and the states break down. He continued, you expect me to stand here as Prime Minister and to fund activities that could lead to the breakdown of your state? He asked. Never. Since Colonel Richard Curry was elected to lead the Accompong Maroons in St. Elizabeth 11 months ago, he has insisted that Accompong is not a quasi-state and has consistently referred to the community as the state of Accompong. His stance is premised on a peace treaty signed 284 years ago with the British, who were the colonial rulers of the island at the time. Over the centuries, however, the Maroons have adhered to the laws of Jamaica, participating in social, economic, and other activities, including education, while at the same time have continued to celebrate their history and maintain their customs and practices. Cops were in the dark that Maroon Festival approved, said Grange. The Jamaican police appeared to have been kept in the dark about government approval of the Maroon Peace Treaty anniversary celebration on Thursday and the back of enforcement of coronavirus safety laws after issuing a Thursday warning that the event was not endorsed by the Health Ministry. The fiasco may offer a source of embarrassment for the police force, whose authority in the sprawling cockpit country lands has been questioned by Accompong Chief Richard Curry amid a simmering war of words about Maroon sovereignty in the Western Jamaica enclave. Culture Minister Olivia Grange told the news that the Accompong celebration had been approved by the Office of the Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, contradicting a release by the police on Wednesday that the event would be in breach of the Disaster Risk Management Act and should be cancelled. In a statement issued Thursday in response to the news queries, Grange disclosed that word of the approval appeared not to have been communicated to the police, who were deployed on the outskirts of the community as the patrons flocked the location. The minister said she had made intercession on behalf of the Maroons prior to the festival, adding that the annual celebration had a cultural significance. As Minister of Culture, I wrote to the ODPEM and received approval for the ceremonial activities. On Thursday, I was in consultation with the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, and it would appear that the police were not aware of the approval from the Office of the Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. This is an annual ritual which is among the diverse cultural forms in Jamaica and is not categorized as an entertainment event but recognized as an annual traditional religious and commemorative activity. Because of that, my ministry has worked with the Maroons over the years to give support, Grange's statement read. The statement, however, appears to be out of step with the Cabinet Office directive urging all government ministries, departments, and agencies not to engage with or fund any secessionist Maroons asserting sovereignty from the Jamaican state. There should be no engagement by Government of Jamaica officials or entities with any entity or organization that claims to be a separate government within any part of Jamaica, the cabinet document said. Further queries on the culture minister's apparent departure from the official policy of the Holness administration were not answered up to press time. Meanwhile, senior communications strategist of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Dennis Brooks, told the news on Friday that the police did not endorse public gathering restrictions within the boundaries of the community, but noted that vehicular checkpoints were erected along Main Road leading to the community. That inaction signaled a retreat from a warning issued on Wednesday by the police information arm, the Corporate Communications Unit, that lawmen would enforce the DRMA, which serves as de facto legislation governing coronavirus health and safety protocols. Public gatherings exceeding 10 persons are banned. Breaches of the DRMA could draw a fine of $1 million. Gatherings in a place of worship ought not to exceed 100. Brooks remained tight-lipped on whether the police were made aware of the approval granted by ODPEM. The St. Elizabeth police were on the periphery of the Accompong community conducting various operational activities, for example, vehicular checkpoints. During these activities, persons were made aware of the concerns surrounding larger gatherings and the observance of social distancing protocols should they choose to proceed, said Brooks. Videos circulating on social media since the staging of the event, however, show large crowds flocking the community with no observance of social distancing or mask wearing. The development comes amid a meteoric rise in COVID-19 infections in Jamaica, with a record daily count of 1,269 new cases registered on Thursday. 6 persons, including 2 children, were shot in an alleged dispute involving an off-duty cop at the back end of the anniversary celebrations Thursday night. 1 man died. Maroon sovereignty has been a disputed issue for decades, but the separatist rhetoric of Curry, who was elected chief of Accompong in February 2021, has reignited national debate. Constitutional attorneys and members of the Holness cabinet have asserted that Maroon autonomy has no place in Jamaican law. An August 2021 standoff between a policeman and Curry, accompanied by loyalists, heightened strife after the Maroons claimed the police were trespassing on a ganja farm. Responding to the police warning Wednesday that the festival should be cancelled, Curry made a post in his Instagram account calling for Maroons to stand unified. He likened the event to the annual Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca. This is a religious duty of Maroons to honor our ancestors and to show the way forward for the born and the unborn. This is our way of life, he said. Close to 1,500 new cases of COVID-19. The country recorded more than 1,000 new cases of COVID-19 for a 4th consecutive day, as the Health Ministry reported there were just under 1,500 new cases on Saturday. There were a total of 1,499 new cases that moved the country's total case count since the pandemic began to 102,505. The positivity rate lowered marginally on Saturday by a percentage to 48.9%. An additional 4 fatalities were also reported by the ministry. However, 3 of the deaths occurred between February and August last year, but were only recently confirmed, the ministry said. The 4th occurred on Thursday. Among the dead was a 23-year-old woman from Westmoreland. The others were a 64-year-old woman from St. Catherine, a 97-year-old man from St. Catherine, and a 75-year-old woman from Kingston and St. Andrew. And the hospitalizations have continued to grow. There are now 310 people in hospital based on the latest statistics, 10 of whom are critically ill and 40 severely ill, nearly double Friday's numbers of those deemed severely ill. Kingston and St. Andrew continue to record the highest number of new cases. The parish breakdown is as follows: Kingston and St. Andrew 480, St. Catherine 329, St. James 172, St. Mary 70, Portland 67, St. Anne 57, Westmoreland 57, Manchester 56, St. Thomas 51, St. Elizabeth 42, Clarendon 37, Hanover 25, and Trelawney 6. A further 86 persons have recovered from the disease, the ministry reported, bringing to 66,483 the number of persons who are now well. There are currently 8,300 active cases. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.